He called me selfish the day I left. The irony still tastes bitter. I remember the silence before I walked out, how the house no longer echoed with laughter, only whispers behind closed doors. My husband, Mark, and my daughter Lily had grown secretive. Conversations stopped when I entered the room. Meals were taken without me. A month of exile inside my own home, and no one had the decency to tell me why. So I packed quietly. No tears, no dramatic exit. Just one last look at the life that had already erased me. Mark didn't ask me to stay. Lily didn't even look up from her phone. That's when I understood. Love doesn't die in screams, it dies in silence. 5 years later, he called. His voice was softer, older, almost uncertain. "Lily's getting married," he said. "She wants you there." He paused, maybe expecting hesitation or begging. But I said yes, because I wasn't the same woman who left that house. I had learned that absence is sometimes the loudest form of revenge. Mark and I met 20 years ago, in a rainstorm outside a cafe. He offered me his umbrella, and I thought he was kind. He was, at first. Charming, ambitious, attentive. The kind of man who made you feel chosen. We built a life on that feeling, the illusion of partnership. He managed the finances, I raised our daughter. We were a team until he stopped seeing me as a teammate and started treating me like a shadow. When I think back, I can pinpoint when it started. He'd take his phone to the bathroom. Work trips became longer. He started calling me by my name instead of love. I noticed, but I said nothing. I watched. Because sometimes silence teaches you more than confrontation ever will. One night I walked past his study and saw Lily's voice on the speakerphone. Only, it wasn't her voice. It was another woman, younger, softer. She laughed the same way I used to. I stood there long enough to understand everything. It wasn't just betrayal, it was replacement. And Lily, she knew. She had chosen her father's comfort over her mother's truth. That was the night I stopped being their victim. I didn't scream, I didn't confront, I started collecting. Bank statements, emails, insurance documents. While they froze me out, I froze my heart. I learned every number, every password, every hidden account. It took months, but by the time I walked away, I wasn't leaving empty-handed. He thought I left because I was weak. He never realized I left because I had already taken everything that mattered to him. Legally, quietly, irrevocably. You see, Mark had tied his business assets to our joint holdings. When I withdrew my share, it bled his company dry. He tried to fight it in court, but every transaction was clean, every move documented. By the time he realized the trap, it was too late. I didn't ruin him out of spite. I simply returned what was mine, multiplied. And then I disappeared. New city, new job, new name. No contact, no trace. Just silence. The same silence they gave me. When his call came 5 years later, I was curious, not sentimental. He didn't sound like the man I knew. There was a tremor in his voice, the sound of someone haunted. At the wedding, I arrived alone. Every eye turned toward me, like a ghost had walked in. Lily looked radiant, older and colder. She avoided my gaze, but her smile faltered. Mark, though, he froze. His hands shook as he poured himself a drink. He hadn't expected me to come. He hadn't expected me to look free. I could see the question in his eyes. How are you still standing? The answer was simple, because I learned that peace can be the sharpest weapon. During dinner, he approached. His voice cracked. "You look good," he said, forcing a smile. "Life's been kind to you." I met his gaze, steady and unblinking. Kindness comes to those who stop begging for it. He looked away, his jaw tightened. The facade slipped just a little. That's when I noticed the tremor in his hand again, the slight stain on his cuff, whiskey, not new, the weight under his eyes, guilt, maybe debt. He was unraveling, and all I had done was leave. After the ceremony, I stood at the edge of the garden, watching the lights flicker against the night. Lily came over, hesitating like a child again. "Mom," she said softly, "I didn't understand back then." I looked at her, not with anger, but with clarity. Understanding isn't owed, Lily, but respect is. Her eyes glistened. For a second, I saw the little girl who used to braid my hair, before her father's words rewrote her version of me. "I'm sorry," she whispered. And for the first time in years, I believed her. When I left the reception, Mark was sitting alone at the bar, his tie undone, staring into nothing. He didn't speak as I walked past. He didn't have to. His silence was confession enough. He had lost everything he once controlled: his money, his family, his illusion of